Another famous pitcher-batter duel 52 years ago, 1926, when Grover Cleveland Alexander, who had won the 6th game for the Cardinals, supposedly had gone out on the town the night before, was called in the 7th inning, bases loaded, 2 out, and he pitched against a rookie, push-him-up Tony Lazzeri, and struck him out. So we had a reverse twist, a rookie pitcher this time against a veteran batting star, Reggie Jackson. It'll go down as one of the highlight duels ever. And right now, let's relive it again from the play-by-play call of Joe Garagiola.
Well, you're getting it all here. The kid against the veteran. The fastballer against the fastball hitter.
Dodger outfielder swung around the right and way deep. They do not want an extra base hit in this situation. North and Smith are playing near the warning track.
Jackson continues to battle Welsh. Welsh continues to battle Jackson.
He's fouling the pitches off, too, that people get him out, yes. High and tight.
Tell you, this kid, he doesn't have any shorts when it comes to that thing called guts. He proved it in San Francisco and here tonight. He's just looking in, getting his sign, and firing. Listen to the crowd. Percentage now. Paul Blair will be off as soon as Welsh starts at the plate. Quite possible he could score on that long single. Percentage to go to 3-2, and it swings to the Yankees, and Jackson makes the kid wait. Dent at second. Blair at first. 2 outs. Tom, I remember when that was happening, you said your palms were sweaty.
They're sweating right now, Joe. I want to tell you, I've been in situations like that in my 12 years in the big leagues against guys like Willie McCovey, Willie Stargell, but I've never had an emotional experience or had the pressure-packed experience of a game like that. In my 12 years in the big leagues, that's one of the most pressure-packed, memorable moments that I've ever seen.
Couldn't agree with you more. And there was another side to that story. Reggie Jackson, of course, struck out, and much was written about it. In fact, some said that what Greg Nettles had said to him in the on-deck circle had upset him. Jackson said that wasn't so. Well, to tell you the truth, Tony Kubek talked to Reggie Jackson and got his side of that story. Here's what Reggie has to say.
To clear my teammate, Greg Nettles, he had nothing to do with it. He was nothing but a help and has been nothing but a help ever since he and I have started discussing pitchers. On the play, my concentration was so fine that I felt I could have gotten a piece of any pitch that Bob would have thrown me, even though he was pitching me extremely tough. I did not think each time I got out of the batter's box. I know I took a lot of time, but I was trying to concentrate and focus everything on one point. When the runners broke, when it was 3-2, I failed to realize that the count being 3-2, the runners would run. And I watched Bucky Dent when Welsh was in his windup. When I came back to the baseball, I had lost my concentration, and he got the baseball by me. And I was upset that I had not covered that base in my mind that the runners would be running.
Well, Babe Ruth struck out. I saw Ted Williams strike out and Mickey Mantle, but that was one of the most beautiful strikeouts I've ever seen.
Thanks, Tony. I'm glad we got it clear because it sure did cause a fuss, didn't it?
Anything Reggie Jackson does causes a fuss. He could start a fight in an empty room, that fella, but it was an exciting moment. And right now we're getting ready for an exciting moment here, Game 3. So let's go to Bob Shepard, the public address announcer, and get the player introductions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Yankee Stadium and the third game of the 1978 World Series. Here are the National League champion Los Angeles Dodgers. the trainers, Bill Bueller. Trainer, Bill Bueller. Trainer, Herb Weick. The coaches, number 26, Red Adams. Number 28, Preston Gomez. Number 45, Jim Lefevre. Number 54, Monty Basco. And in the bullpen, number 58, Mark Cressy. And the non-starters, number 5, Johnny Oates. Number 9, Jerry Grote. Number 11, Manny Mota. Number 13, Joe Ferguson. Number 16, Rick Monday. Number 23, Teddy Martinez. Number 25, Tommy John. Number 31, Doug Rao. Number 33, Vic Davalillo. Number 35, Bob Welch. Number 36, Rick Roden. Number 38, Lance Routzen. Number 46, Bert Hooton. Number 49, Charlie Huff. And number 51, Terry Foster. And now, the starting lineup. Batting first, the second baseman, number 15, David Lopes. Batting second, the shortstop, number 18, Bill Russell. Batting third, the right fielder, number 8, Reggie Smith. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 6, Steve Garvey. Batting fifth, the third baseman, Ron Cey. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 12, Dusty Baker. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 34, Lee Lacy. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 4, Bill North. Batting ninth and catching, number 7, Steve Yeager. And warming up in the Dodger bullpen, number 20, pitcher Don Sutton. And the Dodger manager, Tom Lasorda. Ladies and gentlemen, the world champion, your New York Yankees.
Well, much like Los Angeles, these Yankee fans are hooping and hollering for their New York Yankees. They're giving them a standing ovation.
Trainer, Gene Monahan. Trainer, Herman Schneider. And the coaches, number 8, Yogi Berra.
You're so nervous, Yogi.
Number 32, Elston Howard. Number 33, Gene Michael. Number 34, Dick Hauser. In the bullpen, number 42, Art Fowler. Number 48, Clyde King. Number 2, Paul Blair. Number 11, Fred Stanley. Number 12, Jim Spencer. Number 19, Dick Tidrow. Number 24, Gary Thomason. Number 27, Jay Johnstone. Number 28, Sparky Lyle. Number 29, Jim Catfish Hunter. Number 30, Willie Randolph. Number 31, Ed Figueroa. Number 36, Paul Lindblad. Number 41, Cliff Johnson. Number 43, Ken Clay. Number 45, Jim Beattie. Number 46, Mike Heath. And number 54, Rich Gossett. And the starting lineup for the Yankees. Batting first, the center fielder, number 17, Mickey Rivers. Batting second, the left fielder, number 6, Roy White.
His beautiful wife, Linda. Proud of her man.
Batting third and catching, number 15, Thurman Munson.
All the wives go through it. There's Ann Munson. It's not an easy time for them either. Lots of pressure and lots of relatives.
Batting fourth, the designated hitter, Reggie Jackson. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Lou Piniella. Batting sixth, the third baseman, Greg Nettles. Batting seventh, the first baseman, number 10, Chris Chandler.
He was doubtful up till game time, and there is Audrey, his wife, Audrey Chambliss, applauding.
Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 25, Brian Doyle. Batting ninth, the shortstop, number 20, Bucky Dent. And warming up in the bullpen, number 49, Ron Guidry.
And there is Bonnie Guidry as her man, who is the man of the hour.
And the manager for the Yankees, Bob Lemon. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise? Let us salute the colors as presented by the U.S. Navy Color Guard and join with the world-renowned Robert Merrill as we honor America with our national anthem.
You see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we marched was so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
Third game of the World Series following the ceremonial first pitch right after this message.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention now to home plate, where representing all the youngsters of America who have dreamed of playing at Yankee Stadium, 12-year-old Carl Goodman of Dix Hills, Long Island, will catch tonight's ceremonial first pitch. And to throw out that pitch, one of the all-time Yankee greats, the one and only Yankee Clipper, Joe DiMaggio.
tremendous thrill for that youngster who was just picked out of the stands. He must have been on cloud 9 when he got the World Series ticket. He comes to the ballpark, he catches the first ball, and is thrown by Joe DiMaggio. What's next for that youngster? Amazing, Tom.
So many people in the country, so many young ball players in the country, obviously grow up with a dream of even seeing Yankee Stadium. I know I did when I was a youngster growing up in Fresno, California. Just thinking about Yankee Stadium would give you thrills, and a few years ago, the first time I ever did see it, it was quite a thrill.
Here come the Yankees.
Here's the Yankee defense. At first base for New York, Chris Chambliss. Second baseman, Brian Doyle. Here's the shortstop, Bucky Dent. Third base, who put on pretty good exhibition in game number 2 in Los Angeles, Greg Nettles. Left fielder, the switch hitter, Roy White. Mickey Rivers is back in center field for the Yankees tonight. Still has that sore hip and pulled leg muscle. The right fielder for the Yankees, Sweet Lou Piniella. That was not Boo you heard when he was introduced, it was Lou. The Yankee catcher, as always, Thurman Munson. On the mound, a man with a remarkable record this year, a stranglehold on the Cy Young Award, Ron Guidry.
Well, there are many things you can say about this young man. Statistics galore. But listen to this. This is one of the most impressive to me. This year he pitched 274 innings. He allowed 2 or more runs in an inning only 3 times in 274 innings. That is something, Tom.
Joe, I did a lot of reading about him today and all his numbers and everything going over, and I must say the type of year that he had this year, that's the type of year that pitchers dream about when they go to spring training.
He's got to be the stopper. Here's the first pitch of the game. As always, Lopes hits the first pitch, it seems. Rivers will make the play. 1 pitch, 1 out. That was a high fastball. Lopes is 3 for 9 in this series. Brings up Bill Russell. He's got a hard slider, Guidry. A balloon has just gone out in the field, and Lou Piniella retrieves it. Russell, 4 for 9 in this series. He leads the Dodger regulars in base hits. Remember our host, Kurt Gowdy, talking about him. Outside, ball 1. It isn't always the big slugger who's the big hero. There's a looper coming fast. Rivers, he can't get it. Russell is on again. One on, 1 out. Ball game just getting started. Game 3 of the 1978 World Series, and here is Reggie Smith. Smith, 2 for 9. He has driven in a run. Hit .295 on the season with 29 home runs. Doesn't have quite the power right-handed, and does left-handed. Hasn't thrown real hard yet. Ball 1. Signal trouble for you guys?
Well, Joe, I saw him pitch against Kansas City in the playoffs, and a lot of times a power pitcher like this, you'll have a little trouble getting going in the first inning. Just don't quite get loose in the bullpen. Sometimes you don't get the ball down, and your shoulder doesn't quite get loose. He does not look very free and easy to me on the mound.
If you know that you're not getting loose in the early innings, why wouldn't you take more time, Tom?
Sometimes you go down there and you don't leave yourself enough time, Joe. A lot of times you go down there when you got about 20 minutes left and you use all the time possible that you can get before you have to get back to the dugout. You throw as much as you can, but you still don't get there.
Well, that tells you something about how Lasorda's going to play. At 3-0, he was going for downtown.
And that's where Ron Guidry has to pitch, down in that area, something that he learned sitting down in the bullpen from Dick Tidrow. He used to be a belt-high pitcher, and Tidrow said, not up here, kid.
There goes the runner. Here's the throw. It's a bad one. They got it. What a play by Doyle.
Thurman Munson didn't have very much on the throw at all. Looked like he flinched a little bit. The ball bounces and is sinking away. Look at the tag by Brian Doyle. Just caught Russell on the right knee, it looked like. Pretty good play by the youngster Doyle.
If he hook slides to the infield side, Tony, I don't think he gets him. He slid the wrong way. Slid into him. Nice play by Doyle. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. High, ball 4, walked him. I paid particular attention to Munson after he threw the ball. He walked around much like you do when your arm is sore. And I'm sure if I saw it, the Dodgers saw it. His shoulder appeared to be sore the way he walked around after he threw it.
I'll tell you, Frank Pulley made a pretty good call down at second base, too. He was right down on the play. That was a tough call in that situation.
The thing about Munson that impresses me, obviously does not have the good throwing arm, but his release is so fast, the ball gets down there, and the infielder many times will have a time to recover and make the out.
Well, that's exactly what happened there. Steve Garvey gives John Kibler, the plate umpire, the old eyeball. He didn't like the call, but it is still strike 1. 2 outs. Smith is on at first. Bucky Dent flips to Doyle. Inning is over. So the Dodgers go down in the top half of the first. We go to the bottom half. Los Angeles nothing. Yankees coming to bat.
For the Los Angeles Dodgers, Steve Garvey down at first base. Davey Lopes at second. Checking the baseball. No scuff marks yet, Davey. Shortstop, Bill Russell. Ron Cey at third base for the Dodgers. We'll give you the outfield later as Mickey Rivers is about ready to go on home plate. There's Dusty Baker in left. A lot of room in left field to cover for him. Billy North in center. Reggie Smith in right. Steve Yeager behind the plate, and Don Sutton. And you mentioned that young man who caught the ball from DiMaggio. Sutton had dreams as a youngster of pitching in Yankee Stadium in situations like this.
Mickey Rivers, like Davey Lopes, a first ball hitter. I remember on one of our Game of the Weeks, Ron. Strike on Mickey Rivers. Out of play, and it's strike 2. John Kibler of the National League behind the plate. Marty Springstead at first, Frank Pulley. Second, Joe Brinkman. Third, Ed Barco and Bill Haller, the right and left field lines. 2-strike pitch. There's a base hit. Mickey Rivers is a guy who has to make it go, but Tony, I wonder with that bad leg if he can get that engine cranked up.
I think he's pretty limited, Joe, and it looked like it when he went after that base hit early in the ball game, like he had trouble starting and jogged at it very slowly.
Rivers was 0 for 8 against Sutton in the 77 series, but he broke the ice. Here is Roy White. White is 3 for 9 in the series so far. Takes the strike. They're playing White really to pull the ball. Smith in right field near the line. There you see the gap as Rivers takes his lead. The gap between first and second. Out of play. 2 strikes, nobody out. The Yankees have a base runner. Dodgers didn't score in the top half of the first. We're in the bottom half.
Joe Rivers isn't the kind of guy who really steals bases on knowledgeability as far as pitchers or catchers is concerned. He's always done it by simply outrunning the ball. With that bad leg, he doesn't have anything else to go on except speed.
Speed, no substitute for it. High, ball 1. Mr. Rickey used to always say that speed erases mistakes. You get a bad jump, but your speed makes you get there in plenty of time. A fastball pitcher, if he's fast enough, can throw. A low fastball pitcher, a low fastball. Misjudge a ball, speed will allow you to catch up. Outside.
That's going to be Sutton's plan, I've got to believe. In Yankee Stadium, with all the left-hand hitters in the lineup, there's a short porch, 310 down the line, 353 a little bit off the line, and he wants to keep the ball away. Sink the fastball away, throw that little fadeaway pitch, looks like a screwball on the outside part of the plate.
It's not a good move by Sutton.
You know, Tony, I think you're exactly right. He wants to pitch everybody away, and that's why I find it odd that Billy North at center field is playing around to the right field side. He's going to pitch away. You would think that the center fielder would be around on the left field side and the outfield to cover that big gap in left center.
If the scouting report told you that, there goes Rivers. Here's the throw. They're going to get him. They got him. Russell covering. Yeager with his shotgun just sent out a commercial, and Rivers is retired as White took the pitch high.
And Yeager did not rush the ball. He saw Rivers and the kind of jump he got, that he wasn't running full speed, so he took his time, just made sure of the throw. There's Russell's tag.
Tom, if as we watch the replay here, Rivers looking all the way, and he realized he's going to be out by a mile. If the scouting report told you that, would you move him? That was a drive. This is going to be 1-0 ball game. Fastball.
You know, Joe, it's funny we're talking about how they play him here. .310 sign.
Would you have moved your center field if you saw him playing over? The report told you to pull him?
I would have. I definitely would have.
Joe, certain left-hand hitters in this ballpark, you'll see them throughout the Yankee lineup, hit like right-handers do in Fenway. If you keep pitching them away, they start getting closer to the plate. Yogi did it better than anybody. He'll take a pitch 6 inches off the plate outside, and he can pull in the corner.
Munson, strike one. Roy White, his first World Series home run, and the Yankees jump out to a 1-0 lead on a 3-2 pitch after Rivers had been out attempting to steal. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Joe Sutton has all the basic pitches. He's got a fastball that'll tail and make it run away from the right-hand hitter, run it into the left-hand hitter. He's got an outstanding curveball. I looked at either the fastball or the slider. The slider many times is much bigger than a normal slider. Got a straight change and a little bit of a screwball that he uses, and he can throw any one of them at any time. He's a control pitcher, and he's got to get the ball down. The 3-2 pitch to White was upstairs. That's that real tough curveball that he's got. He's got a fine curveball.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 run in. A home run by Roy White. Is called out on strikes, so there are 2 away, and the crowd will react to Reggie Jackson. I tell you, they sound more alive than they look because they're making noise, but they were sitting there like just enjoying a night out. Reggie, 4 for 8 in this series, 1 home run, 4 RBIs, takes low, ball 1, and I tell you, this guy is such news. We came back to New York. He had driven in 3 runs in that game, but all they wrote about, the headline was Reggie strikes out. Headline yet when Welsh got him. 2 balls, no strikes, and then that play you saw, Tony, when he threw the bat, I understand it was played up pretty big, and he explained it in the pregame show.
Yeah, he did. We had to cut some of it out. It was a little bit too long. But what happened with Reggie really was he threw the bat in the heat of striking out against Bob Welch, and did not hit anybody, and he really did throw it where nobody was present in the dugout. Bob Lemon tried to calm him down, and there was a little scuffle in the dugout, and really no punches were thrown.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3-1. And if he gets his pitch right here, you're going to see some kind of swing. That's the kind of pressure Don Sutton is under right here. Strike. Some pitch, Tom.
I'm surprised he didn't swing at that. You know, Reggie, the fastball hitter, ahead of the pitcher. You got to think that he looks for a nice pitch to hit out over the strike zone.
Ball forward. Jackson walks. He turned it over. It looked like a screwball. And here comes Piniella. You can hear the crowd with that loo, which makes it sound like a boo, which is great. You can have a bad night. Just tell everybody, well, they were just saying loo. Piniella, 3 for 8 in this series. He's driven in a run. He had 314 on the season. There's the strike. Attended the University of Tampa. Reggie Jackson, Arizona State. Strike, 2 outs, 1 man on, 1 run is in. A home run by Roy White.
Sutton's the kind of pitcher, Tom, that can give the Yankee ball club some trouble with the good off-speed stuff, the curve, the 2 kinds of change-ups. They're basically a fastball hitting club. I think a high fastball hitting club, similar to the Dodgers, I would say.
Tony, one of the things that Sutton does when he gets in trouble, he does have the 4 pitches, and he has very good control of them. When he does get in trouble, he gets his fastball up.
Jackson running on the pitch. Piniella deep to right center field. Nice running catch by Billy North. Jackson had already gotten around third base. He'd have scored easily. But it ends the inning. Yankees, a home run by White. It's 1-0 at the end of 1, New York. 1-0. The Yankees, and there's the man who put the number on the scoreboard, Roy White, with a home run. Ron Guidry on the mound, having a little visit with John Guidry and with John Kibler. Guidry is 5'11", 161, which I think is his baseball weight. I don't think he's that big. 28 years old, born and lives in Lafayette, Louisiana. High school did not have a baseball team. He played sandlot ball. Attended the University of Southern Louisiana, playing varsity baseball. He's a 3rd selection in June '71 in the free agent draft by the Yankees. Here is Ron Cey. That's the hardest ball he's thrown so far. Cey, 3 for 7, 1 home run, a 3-run blast in the second game that put the Dodgers ahead.
One of the pitchers, Tom, whose fastball seems to move better when it's down low in the strike zone. It's like a tail away from the right-hander, sails in sometime to a left-handed hitter, or right-handed hitter rather, and it sinks at times also, but that slider's the devastating pitch.
Down the left field line, it is a foul ball. You will notice that when Guidry gets 2 strikes on the opposing batter, that the crowd, the noise level really goes up a couple decibels. I would say quite a few. They really come out to watch this youngster strike him out. He's averaged 8.1 strikeouts per 9 innings. That was in 1978. Listen to him. Ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out. 1-0. Yankees, top of the second. Home run by Roy White. So he gets his first strikeout. And let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
Has 1 home run. He had 262 on a season with 11 home runs. Munson thought it was a strike, but it's ball 1.
Joe, we sit up here and we talk about keeping the ball up or keeping the ball down or whatever. By keeping the ball down, a lot of people don't understand exactly what we're talking about. If I say keep the ball down, I don't mean from the belt down. That is not low in the strike zone. If you want to talk about down in the strike zone, you've got to talk about the middle of the thigh down. It's probably the best way to describe it. If you look at the hitter and go from the middle of the thigh, go down to about 4 inches below his knee, then you could say you might be getting the ball down. If you get up above about the middle thigh, you're in trouble. That's when you get the ball up in the strike zone. You can do it if you're a power pitcher like Ron Guidry.
Crowd, they're looking for another strikeout. 3-2. New baseball. Down, I tell you, it means so many things. Depends on who the pitcher is. Listen. Foul ball. 1 out, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Dusty Baker. Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing. Top of the 2nd, a home run by Roy White. That was a riding fastball. It was high and it's ball 4. That's the second base on balls. He's averaged, Guidry, only 2.4 base on balls per 9 innings this year, and he was 2.8 in 1977. He's already walked 2.
That's the amazing part about a young guy like this that throws the ball real hard, that his walk ratio per 9 innings pitch is really very low. Just about 2.5 base on balls per 9 innings for a guy that throws that hard is really amazing.
Lacy, good cut, strike 1.
You know, Tony, looks like he's got more confidence in his slider here in the first couple innings than he does in his fastball.
He'll throw a slider sometimes when he's 3 balls, 2 strikes, even 2-1.
Bouncing ball, this could be 2. There is 1 over to first, it is. Double play, 5-4-3. So the Dodgers are out in a top half of the 2nd inning. And as we go into the bottom half, it is the New York Yankees 1, the Los Angeles Dodgers nothing. Don Sutton, he's been here before in World Series against Nettles. Nettles, 276. 1 for 8 so far in this series. Strike 1. This is his 5th series game, Don Sutton, his 5th start. 74 against Oakland, 1-0. 77 Yankees, 1-0. Got under it, near the stands, and out of play. You know, talking about Guidry before and Sutton here, the toughest job of catching is not catching the ball, blocking the play, throwing it. It's finding out what the pitcher's best pitch is that night. For example, Guidry is a fastball pitcher, but so far tonight, it is not his best pitch. And if you keep calling it, you'll get him an early shower. 2 strikes to count. Do you have many arguments about that, Tom?
No, you're exactly right, Joe. And the funny part is that Guidry's pitch right now, his fastball, is not his best pitch, but it might be his best pitch in 2 innings.
Right. Blue foul. Sutton got the ball up, way up there, and Nettles got around on it.
Nettles is one of the guys in this Yankee ball club who has tailored his swing to this ballpark. He was always pretty much a pull hitter with other ball clubs, but when he got here, he started stepping well in, and he can pull that pitch to the outside part of the plate. Sutton is going to have to throw them inside once in a while just to show him that inside pitch.
Way outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sutton is allowed, well, he allowed 29 home runs in 1978. That's an average of about 1 every 8 1/3 innings. 77 was 1 every 10 1/3 innings. 1-2 pitch. Davey Lopes can't get it. Nettles a big turn, holds on at first. See how they call it.
Davey just got handcuffed. He got a funny in-between hop. He just tried to block it, and the ball scoots, as you saw, underneath his glove. Seldom do you see a ball hop over infielder's glove. It usually scoots right under the bottom of it. He just got handcuffed.
The scorers have just given Nettles a base hit. The scorers are Bill Liston of the Boston Herald-American, Gordon Burrell, Long Beach Independent, Jack Lang, New York Daily News. Here's Chambliss inside ball 1. Liston is the baseball writers president, and they have a new one now. We congratulate J.P. Sereau from the Montreal Matin in Montreal. He was elected today. Is that the way you say it in French? Matin? All right. Well, Matin is half Italian. Blow to Chris Chambliss. 2 balls, no strikes. Yankee fans whooping it up. They've got 1 run on the scoreboard. A home run by Roy White. There's nobody out. Nettles is on at first. Chambliss was a doubtful starter. There's his strike. 2 balls and 1 strike on that outside corner.
See, Joe, he's taking the wrap off that right hand. He pulled what might have been a tendon in the little finger area of his right hand. He had it taped up heavily in Los Angeles, but took it off. Didn't take batting practice today.
3-1 to count. Nobody out. Nettles taking a good look at Hauser. Is he running? Look at Chambliss. He's checking to see. Garvey's playing behind the runner. Holding. Ball 4.
Now Say and Sutton are out on the mound getting their signals straight in case Bob Lemon has Doyle, who's a good bunter. He has him sacrificing the most important thing of all in that play. The bunt, then on first and second, is the communication.
Tony, the bunt should be made to third, but you and I and Tom, I know you know it, Garvey doesn't like to throw. Where do you think they'll be bunting? I say Garvey.
I say third base.
I do too, if he's bunting at all. I think he will be.
He was going to third. Garvey right in on top, and there you see the coaches, Red Adams, Tom Lasorda. It's like Joe Ferguson.
Tom, as a pitcher, who do you like to control this play? You like to catch the challenge if you get the ball?
As far as where I'm going to go with the ball, you mean? Definitely the catcher is in control here about which base you're going to make a play to. He can see everything out in front of him, and he's got to make the call for you.
Pops it up. Can't get it. Doyle a bit disappointed. He now has a count of strike 2. Base runners at first and second. Nettles is at second. Chambliss is at first. Nobody out. 1-0 Yankees lead. We're in the bottom of the second. Doyle taking a good look at his third base coach. Sutton in a jam. Up the middle. Could be 2. Russell to Lopes. No. Good play by Chambliss.
I'll tell you, quite a play by Lopes, too. He got the toss from Russell, and he barehanded it, which was quite dangerous. There it is again. Watch this. Looks like they're only going to get 1 with Doyle running. Look at at Davey. Very dangerously picks it off with his bare hand. That's quite a slide by Chambliss and quite a play by Lopes.
You know, you think, Tony, maybe he had no other play, but he looked like he had time to be able to get his glove over.
It wasn't that far behind him. Russell gave him a pretty good toss.
Bucky Dent. High, ball one. Over at third base, Nettles. At first base, Doyle. One man out. 1-0, Yankees lead. It's popped up. Yeager near the stands and cannot get it. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out.
Well, we saw in the first game that even though the Dodgers won with a power display, that they are somewhat vulnerable in the infield.
There you see Hauser talking to Nettles at first base. Doyle. 1 out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bucky Dent. 2 for 8 so far in the series. Bouncing ball, save to Lopes. 1 over to first. Not in time.
Watch Brian Doyle from our camera in left center field as he breaks off the bag at first. Lopes has some time. He doesn't get a good throw off, and Brian Doyle came right after him. Brian Doyle right there might have been involved in what some people think is an illegal slide. You're supposed to be able to have your hand and be able to touch the bag and grasp the bag. Not supposed to slide for the man making the pivot. It's supposed to be at the bag.
Mickey Rivers takes it high for ball 1.
We'll watch Doyle again. Watch where he's going. He's supposed to be able to come somewhat in contact with the bag. You make your own judgment, but he rolls out to left field. It was enough to upset Davey Lopes and get the run home.
Hot smash, base hit for Rivers. His second hit of the night. Ken stops at second. Lasorda, left to right, Ferguson, Lasorda, Red Adams. Yankees lead 2-0, and Roy White, who hit a home run on a 3-2 pitch, as a batter. Ball 1.
Don Sutton hit a little rough the last time he was out on the mound. That was in Game 3 of the championship series against Philadelphia.
1 strike, a breaking ball. Two outs, base runners at first and second. Yankees lead 2-0. Outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Sutton nibbling. They have not really dented him, but they have scored twice, a home run and 1 here. Bouncing ball to Lopes. And so that retires the side, and the score at the end of 2 complete innings. It's New York 2, Dodgers nothing. And coming up for the Dodgers, it'll be Billy North, Steve Yeager, and Davey Lopes. Capacity crowd, Yankee Stadium. Well, I got a chance here. I got to get somebody off the hook. I said the other night that Cary Grant was a great Yankee fan. I saw a picture of him in George Steinbrenner's office. That he is. I looked at the picture again tonight, and he is written a confirmed Yankee Dodger fan. And George Steinbrenner told me that he is a good friend, but he was a Dodger fan first, so he understands his allegiance. So since we look so much alike, me and Cary, I thought I'd... Okay, Kerry, you root for whoever you want just so you root baseball. He's a good baseball fan. Billy North takes it high, ball 1. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. Nobody on, nobody out. 2-0. Yankees have jumped out in front. Good cut at that. Boy, I don't know what camera that is taking it, but they're getting in with some shots that are really close-ups. Look at that. You can... Look at that. Shortened up as if to bunt. 3-1. Billy North. He wants to get on. He'll be followed by Yeager. North has only been at bat once in this series, and he hit a double. Drove in 2 runs. He's on now. That's a 3rd walk given up by Ron Guidry, and that's not like him.
Well, the point you made before, Joe, is really, I think, is very worthwhile in a sense that he is not sharp. His control is not sharp yet, but he's throwing hard enough. Not really as hard as he can throw in maybe that 95 or 96 mile an hour range, but he's throwing hard enough where he hasn't been hurt yet. He's only given up the 1 hit.
And you can see Munson fishing around, trying to come up with what he thinks is the best pitch that he can go to when Guidry's in trouble.
With Billy North on his obvious steal threat, and even with the Dodger team down by 2 runs, you never know what they're going to try. Guidry does not have a good move.
There he goes. Here's a throw. Not this time. They're going to be running all night with Munson.
Here's Billy North. Guidry with not a good move. He is very quick to home plate, however. North had a fairly good jump.
That's a great study, too, of a man just looking for the base and just putting his head down and going. Not much on that throw. One of those infield fly jobs.
Well, it's obvious that the Dodgers in their clubhouse have set the mood of what they want to do, how they want to play, and they want to run. They want to continually test Munson's arm, and I think every opportunity they get, they're going to test his arm, and they're going to test the arms of the Yankee outfield.
We'll watch him the next time somebody runs after he throws, and you'll see how you can see the pain in his face. 2 strikes on Yeager. Listen to the crowd. They want to strike out. Bouncing ball to the left of Dent. Should get him. He does at first, but moving to 3rd is Billy North.
Billy North gets an excellent jump off the bag. He will tell you ball hit to that side, don't go, but he has such good judgment aside from being a good base stealer. That makes the play, but they've got a man at 3rd base with less than 2 outs.
Tom Lopes is a first ball hitter. You know that. You got a man on 3rd, 1 out. What would you do to him right now?
First ball, fastball hitter. You know, those are the kind of questions that I could spend 5 minutes answering.
Tell me the pitch.
I'll tell you why. I don't know, because I don't know how Guidry feels yet. Now, he may be ready to throw his fastball now. I think he's going to throw a slider. Slider in the dirt.
Try to make him chase the bad ball. You would stay away from your fastball. They want to look at it.
Lopes is obviously, I mean, he has been up to this point, first ball, fastball hitter. You got a man on 3rd. You don't want to sacrifice flyer. You want to try and get the ball in the infield and save the run at 3rd base.
2-0. Yankees lead. 1 out. 2 balls, no strikes.
If the ball's hit down the nettles, he's playing in even with a bag. But the rest of the infield is conceding the run. Dent, Doyle, and of course Chambliss. There's the defensive alignment.
Right to Nettles. Hit that ball hard. Had him played perfectly.
He is a great positioner. He will get signals from Bucky Dent, his shortstop. Verbal signals because, of course, the 3rd baseman cannot see the signs. He's blocked out by the glove and the knee of the catcher. So if Dent yells his first name, come on, Greg, usually it's the fastball.
Tremendous shot by our cameraman. You really saw that thing come off the bat right to Nettles. Strike 1. That's I think a low left field. Great shot. That's how the left fielder Roy White sees the game. 2-0. Yankees outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Billy North still at 3rd. In the hole, going to be a tough play for Bucky Dent.
Bucky Dent almost comes up with one whale of a play, but he had to throw a little bit off balance, and he bounced to throw. Watch how far he goes to get it. He must have traveled 15, 18 feet. Now off balance across his body, it bounces. I'll tell you, that ball might have been in the glove of Chambliss before the foot hit the bag. Right there, when he could not get righted around, couldn't get enough on the ball. That was awfully close.
Marty Springstead is the umpire. There you see Bucky Dent. You saw him telling Brian Doyle what the pitch was. Hot smash. What a play by Nettles. Throw in time. Putting on a fielding clinic, and that ends the inning. So we go to the bottom of the third, and what a ball game we've got going here. 2-1 Yankees. Clubs and hits. That's the guy you picked to be the star. Is biorhythms up or what?
Well, no, I tell you, Joe, I talked to the Dodger ball players, and they all told me that Russell is the most underrated player on their team. He already leads the series in hits. He's just driven in a run. He's made good contact the entire series, and I'm sure that he's going to make more.
Curt Gowdy, who is down right at field level, and that was his pick. Bill Russell will be the star as we look at Munson against Sutton. It is a strike.
You've got to admire a guy like Curt Gowdy, especially when he picks a shortstop. Good taste, Curtis.
That was an objective view. Munson was called out on strikes his first time up. 1 ball and 1 strike. I tell you, a play like Nettles made to end that inning may be just what a pitcher needs, because Guidry has just been, he's been reeling. He's been, you know, it's one of those feelings of walking in the bedroom with no lights on. He's bumping into everything. 1 ball, 1 strike. Go around. Kibler's going to ask. He gets the strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Sutton's really a study in concentration on the mound. He gets his signal from Yeager, and he gets his location, and he'll nod, and then he'll concentrate in on exactly where he wants to throw the ball.
Kibler says strike 3. Munson is out on strikes for the 2nd time. He just can't stop that bat, Tone.
No, he can't. That shoulder is so bad. Tom, your manager, Sparky Anderson, Cincinnati, has been one of the biggest complainers about Don Sutton, and that he doctors the baseball, maybe throws a grease ball, scuffs it up. You were on that bench.
Well, I would say that I've gotten balls on the mound when I pitch against Don Sutton, and there are some scuff marks on them. I think it's very psychological.
The scuff marks?
No, I think a hitter goes to the home plate, and he thinks about those scuff marks as opposed to what somebody is throwing to him, as that's Jackson grounding out to Davy Lopes, starts thinking about those scuff marks on the ball instead of what the pitcher's really doing.
Do you see the scuff marks, though?
Not when you're throwing it. When I pick the ball up on the mound, I can. Yeah, but what difference does it make? It's like Gaylord Perry supposedly throwing the spitball.
Oh, no, he throws a spitball. I did a show on that. He was a Vaseline ball. And I know where he gets it. He gets it in the tongue of the shoe. He gets it where he roll up the pants. He gets behind. He loads it up, that I'll tell you. But does Sutton scuff up the ball?
It's all psychological.
Oh, these pitchers.
Listen, Doug Harvey didn't think it was psychological because he threw Sutton out of a ball game.
2-1 is the score. These pitchers stick together, Tony. Piniella, what a cut he had.
Some of you might not have seen the first 2 ball games of the World Series, and that number 19 is the number of the late Jim Gilliam. And the Dodgers, as you know, have dedicated the World Series to Junior.
Profile, Dick Hauser, who will be a college coach next year at Florida State. Harry Walker's leaving the Cardinals. He's going to go coach college baseball.
Your friend Bobby Richardson was coaching Tony.
At South Carolina for a while, then he ran for politics.
Danny Litweiler, Bud Matheny. A lot of former major leaguers now coaching in the college ranks, and you have to benefit from that. 2-strike pitch. Off the handle.
You'll see Sutton pitch right-handed hitters inside more than you will left-handers, obviously because of the ballpark. It's 430 in left center field, 417 in dead center, and that's Death Valley for a lot of right-handed hitters, has been for many, many years.
Inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. Yankees 2, Dodgers 1. We're in the bottom of the third. Dodgers won the first 2 games. First one 11-5, the second one 4-3. There's a base hit. Piniella.
There's the stadium. Beautiful shot. Our handheld camera from high atop behind home plate. You can see the facade at the top of your screen, one of the things left from the original stadium.
Greg Nettles. That's it. Button your shirt. Look nice. Mother will be proud of you. National television, he gets a bad Taylor. He's ready. Nettles, base hit his first time up, scored a run. Good pitch by Sutton. One strike, 2 outs. They're playing behind Piniella at first. Quick throw. Close. Yeager thought he had him. He loves to throw. There's Garvey waiting for it, and here's the tag. Just did get in there. Good call by Marty Springstead. That's an ad-lib play.
Boy, he was leaning too. I don't think he was stealing, but Sutton caught him almost going the wrong way. That's something you can see the first base coach, Michaels. He can't help you.
There he goes. Here's the throw. Safe. Piniella, who is not a base-stealing threat. In fact, he only stole 3 bases in 4 attempts. He makes it.
Well, Sutton may have taken him for granted after he threw over and almost got him. He takes off, and you can see the play. He must have had a good jump, because you don't do that off Yeager.
Tony, I think that's exactly what happened. I think Don Sutton on the mound figured there's no way that Piniella would be running. If you're going to run on Yeager, you're running against probably the best arm in baseball to throw into second base. And we must not have looked at it.
And with Nettles hitting, Tom, Nettles hitting, you got that hole with first and second, so he took for granted, and that hurt you. Right field. Right center, actually, north, way over there, just waits for it. That ends the inning. Nettles flies to Billy North. That ends the inning. Yankees do not score, so at the end of 3 complete innings, it is a 2-1 ball game. Yankees out in front. It'll be Steve Garvey, Ron Cey, Dusty Baker. And we'll be right back after these messages from Steve Garvey, Ron Cey, Dusty Baker, Yankee Stadium. Boy, I tell you, how many times as a youngster growing up, that great voice of Mal Allen, World Series. Hi, everybody, Mal Allen, World Series. That was just so exciting. Here we are again, popped up. Gidry's going to make the play. Hey, what does that tell you, Tom, that a powerful guy like Garvey is trying to bunt?
Well, he's the third baseman playing way back. He thinks he can, leading off the inning, can get on base. Steve will do that once in a while during the season. He's a pretty good bunter. He'll use all of the park. He'll go to right field. He can hit the ball out to left field. Try and drag bunt once in a while.
You think maybe Gidry's got better stuff than we've been giving him credit for?
Well, let's see. He's into, what, 1 out in the 4th inning here. Still only has 1 strikeout.
He had a chance to see Ron Guidry, the athlete, right there, too, going way into foul territory to catch that ball. He ran the 100 about 9.5. Some say he's the best center fielder they've got on this ball club if he would play there, and he was an excellent hitter when he was growing up.
So here is Ron Cey outside, ball 1. Gidry's 3 losses this year were to Milwaukee. Mike Caldwell beat him. Baltimore, Mike Flanagan beat him. And Toronto, Mike Willis beat him. The Dodgers had a guy named Mike. They would have probably brought him up.
But they don't have anybody named Mike. Guidry's 3 losses. There is that Yankee bench. 2-0 pitch. Outside. 3 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Say takes a look at third base coach Preston Gomez. Keep in mind that Reggie Smith went to work on a 3-0 pitch, swung and missed. Ball 4, Ron Cey gets a base on balls, and this is really unusual. 4 base on balls given up by Ron Guidry. Joe Garagiola here with Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver, and Kurt Gowdy. We're in the 4th inning of Game 3 of the 1978 World Series with the Yankees out in front by the score of 2-1. 1 home run in the ball game. Roy White hit that in the first. Dusty Baker, who walked his first time up, is the batter. Ball 1. Ron Cey stole 2 bases in 7 attempts. If he breaks off first base, you know everybody is running. It's a high fly ball right field. Piniella has it in range. 2 outs. Lou Piniella. Tell you, in the outfield, he's not that flashy, but he's pretty steady.
He has a good throwing arm, the best among the 3 outfielders now. He doesn't cover a whole lot of ground, but he gets everything he catches, or he gets everything that he comes close to, doesn't drop any.
Lacy. It's a strike. Lacy hit into a double play his first time up.
How'd you let that one go by? That was Yogi Berra. He gets everything he catches, and it went right over your head.
I didn't want to say anything because nobody comes to this park. It's too crowded.
You have a pregame conversation with Yogi, and that's what happened.
He puts a Windsor knot in your tongue. 1 ball and 1 strike. Right off Munson's mask into the stands. 1 ball and 2 strikes. John Kibler. There you see Davey Lopes, Yeager. Sutton. 1-2 pitch, 2 outs. Inside, 2-2. Fouled off by Lacy. Count remains at 2-2. 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors for the Yankees. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors for the Dodgers. His second strikeout, and do these fans ever react? So that ends the top of the 4th inning. The score here, New York Yankees 2 and the Dodgers 1.
Ron Guidry has thrown all night, and that might be an indication that he's going to go away from that slider a little bit. We'll see more fastballs.
We'll be watching for it. Sutton against Chambliss, Doyle, and Dent. Yankees lead 2-1, bottom of the 4th. It is a strike. John Kibler.
As we said before, Sutton, a very good curveball, and there's a bad swing at an outstanding curveball.
Trouble, knocked down by Cey. Can't make the play. He covered a lot of ground on that one, Tony.
Looked like an off-speed pitch. That change of pace that Sutton turns over. Chambliss is having trouble swinging, as we told you, but Ronnie Cey, even though he does not get Chambliss, he saves a short double. He made one heck of an effort.
Look at this angle. He is momentum carrying him away from where he has to throw. I counted the actual steps on the replay, Tony. He took 4 steps before he was even diving. Tremendous play by Ron Cey. Doesn't get his man, but saves the base. Here is Doyle. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Say was creeping in at third base, looking for a possible bunt with nobody out, a man on first base. Say's coming in again at third base.
There goes Chambliss. Left center field. Hard on the run. Baker makes the play, and Chambliss heads back. Looked like it could have been trouble when it started out. Brings up Bucky Dent. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. In any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Major League Baseball is prohibited. Bucky Dent into a force play his first time up, drove in a run.
I think Bob Lemon realized he's going to have to hit and run a little more, move some infielders around. Sutton's usually around the plate. He's not that overpowering. I asked one of the Dodgers the last time we saw him pitch in our game of the week, and asked what Sutton's problem has been off and on the last 2 years. They said simply he's lost his fastball. Doesn't throw the ball by you anymore.
Didn't mean to swing. Garvey slips, but he's still in time and takes the play himself. He had ideas of throwing it to Sutton.
Steve goes to his right very well here, and looks like he is going to make the play to Sutton. It's easy. They had enough time to get back to the bag.
Look at Sutton.
Easy out. Do a little matador dance.
Here is Mickey Rivers with Bob Lemon, the manager. One of the rarities that we got. This is the first time that two pitchers, former Major League pitchers, have opposed each other in a World Series. Lasorda and Lemon. Ball one. Fred Mitchell managed the Cubs. He lost. William Gleason, White Sox in 19, lost. Eddie Dyer, my manager in 46, won, and Fred Hutchinson lost. And now Lasorda, last year lost. Deep to left field, but plenty of room. There it is, Death Valley. So Rivers flies deep to Baker. That ends the inning. At the end of 4 complete innings, the score here, Yankees 2, Dodgers 1. It'll be Billy North. Pitchers and managing, I was trying to lead into it because not many pitchers have managed and not many in the World Series. Have you ever thought about managing?
Well, it's a possibility, Joe. Maybe 5 years down the road when I finish playing, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it's a thought.
All right, Billy North, Steve Yeager, Dave Lopes. North, after the first base pitch, pulls it foul. We got a good pitchers game going once again, as we did in game 2 when Hooten and Hunter tied up. Yankees lead 2-1. Dodgers with just 2 base hits. 1 ball, 1 strike. The man who has those 2 hits, Curt Gowdy's man, Bill Russell. Guidry has struck out 2 so far. He has walked 4, very high for him. But Guidry got it on the first time. So North is out, 1 down. He jammed him with a fastball, and Billy couldn't get far enough down the third base line to surprise Greg Nettles.
My theory is, Tony, of a guy that throws hard and has real good stuff. Those are the tough guys to bunt off of. That's why I wasn't crazy about Garvey's attempt to bunt or that attempt to bunt. If a guy's got real good stuff and the ball is moving a lot, then it's real tough to control the ball if you're trying to bunt the ball down a certain baseline. Bunting is an art in baseball that not many people do very well. And it's more difficult to bunt a ball that's moving or darting or sailing than it is a straight fastball.
The pitch you want is the off-speed pitch. Curveball, changeup. Yeager goes 1 ball, 1 strike, Guidry. Don't know if the Dodgers had this in their scouting report, but Ron Guidry might just be the best fielding pitcher in baseball. Jimmy Palmer's won the Gold Gloves a few times, but Guidry, I think, moves around a little bit more.
When I was here watching the Kansas City Yankee playoff games, I was talking to Art Fowler about his pitching staff, and he says this kid Guidry might be the fastest player in baseball. He's the best athlete off a mound he's ever seen, and he says for a young kid, a young player, he has more determination than any other pitcher he has ever seen. There's the pitching coach, Art Fowler. He had nothing but absolute praise for this young boy. He's not affected by all his success either.
3-1 to Yeager. Fouled off, 3-2. That was an interesting last line on Art Fowler. He pitched in professional baseball at the age of 48. Of course, you all remember White Wilhelm. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Steve Yeager. He grounded out in the 3rd off Guidry. Fouled off on a play again. Guidry seems to be getting a little more rhythm, getting into a little bit more of a groove. 2-1. The Yankees lead over the Dodgers. We're in the 5th. Looks like he might have gone with a slider.
We're back to the slider there, Tony. He certainly did.
But he walks the 5th Dodger. Yeager's on. It'll bring up Dave Lopes.
Do you think maybe Munson is trying to find him and in that particular spot, use the slider to build up his confidence?
Well, I don't think that Yeager, even on the first 3-2 pitch, he fouled off it. I don't think he got the bat to the ball out in front of the plate into a good hitting zone. Munson could still be searching.
The pitcher can shake that catcher off at all times. Is that the way it's with you? I know.
Pitcher is the last one to touch the baseball. I learned this about 12 years ago.
That's right. We can only suggest, and you guys got the ball.
Catcher says, don't hang it on me. You got the ball.
Right.
You're the last one to touch it. You take the responsibility. If you don't like what I'm putting down here, shake me off. I think you're wrong. I'll come out and we'll talk about it.
1-0 pitch to Lopes. Outside goes 2-0. Yeager at first, 1 out. 5th base on ball in this ball game. That's the high as we look at Yeager being held by Chambliss. The high for Guidry this year. Early in May, in 6 1/3 innings, he didn't finish that game against Texas. Guidry walked 5. Pulled deep, but it's going to hook foul. So Lopes jumps on the 2-0 pitch. It's now 2-1. Davies fly to center field. He lined hard to Nettles at 3rd base. Two and 1. Drilled hard, base hit in the hole by Lopes, so the Dodgers have 2 men on base. 1 out. It'll bring up Russell, who's 2 for 2. Pitch up in the strike zone, a little high. Guidry still does not have that fastball. He's thrown a couple of good pitches hard tonight, the one to Lacy we can recall, a couple of others. He's not the Guidry we've seen most of this season. And he's had, what, 5 days rest? This is the 5th day he's pitching on?
He's pitching on the 6th day, right. This is 5 days rest that he had. He certainly is not pitching the way that I saw him when he pitched last against Kansas City. His fastball is inconsistent, and that pitch was up in the strike zone. Was not moving.
With 1 out, the infield fly is called, so Russell's automatically out. So Russell, 2 for 3 in the ball game.
But it's the good pitcher who can pitch and stay close when he doesn't have that good stuff. It's a cakewalk when you got that good fastball, and that's what Guidry has really shown here. He doesn't have his good stuff, but he's still hanging tough, doing what he has to stay close.
Doing what he has to. He's given up only 3 hits and 1 run. That's the difference between pitching. There's 2 words here, pitching and throwing. And that's one of the great arts of it, is being able to pitch.
Smith drills it. Nice play by Nettles to knock it down, but it gets away. Nettles saves 1 run, maybe a double in the corner by just knocking the ball down. The ball took a wicked hop the last hop, and somehow Nettles got his glove on it to save a possible double. He has been something.
Looked like a slider down and in that Reggie Smith really turned on. And Greg Nettles is, in the last 2 games, the last game in Los Angeles, the game here, has put on some show defensively.
Now the crowd with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and the danger spins in all of baseball. Garvey up. He popped it up, but will it stay in play? Chambliss to the seats. He can't reach it. The Dodgers have the bases loaded with 2 outs off Ron Guidry.
You know, Tony, one of the mistakes I think the Dodgers did last year, 1977, when they came into this ballpark for the World Series, those right-handed hitters tried to pull the ball too much. The only right-hand hitter that was going to right field was Steve Garvey.
1 strike pitch to Garvey. Hit hard once again. Nettles will go to second. He just gets the rough sliding runner to retire on the side. Greg Nettles with quite a defensive display that inning once again. So we'll go to the last of the 5th. The Yankees, as Nettles saves a run, they lead over the Dodgers 2-1. Nettles and one thing he does so well, Tom. Most third basemen would break straight toward the line. And if they do that, the ball's by you. But he somehow judges the speed of the ball off the bat, not only the angle, and by doing so, he breaks back on the harder hit balls, and he can somehow still get him. That play was just magnificent to get Reggie Smith at second.
You know, the other thing he did, too, Tony, is when he went over and he got the ball, a real tough play, he caught the ball, and he knew exactly where he was going with the ball before he turned. I mean, he had his mind made up before he caught the ball that he was going to go to second base. Great instincts at third base.
Just terrific. With Reggie Smith running off first, the bases loaded, he had to have a good jump. So now for the Yankees in the fifth, it's Roy White, Thurman Munson, and Reggie Jackson to face Don Sutton. 2-1, the Yankees lead over the Dodgers. One strike on White. That's why he plays in September. It's so well, he's been so consistent. Look at the eyes darting at Say to see if he's playing in. You might try to drop a bunt down.
That was a great camera shot when they went inside. He looks like a guy, he's looking through the peephole. Watch his eyes as he's up there, even as Sutton gets ready. He was looking around.
He was making sure where Say was. If Say was playing back, there was a possibility of a bunt. 1-1 pitch from Sutton. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Tony, can an infielder see that good?
Nettles is one who can. There's the defensive alignment, Say and Russell. Say, drop back a step. That's what Nettles told me he watches, the eyes. So if a guy looks down at me, I start thinking bunt. 3 balls, 1 strike. That's the time when Nettles says he decoys a guy. He sees a guy's eyes. He will step back and decoy a guy into bunting. From the left field camera, Roy White walks on a 3-1 pitch, and the Yankees have the leadoff hitter on in the fifth. Thurman Munson. A good hit-and-run man. Roy White has speed. The Yankees leading 2-1 over the Dodgers. Bob Levin might send the runner. Munson has struck out twice today. Sutton knows there's a possibility right here of a hit-and-run. White with a pretty good lead. He's off. First pitch, hit the right center field. Reggie Smith back. So Levin has started the runners about 4 times so far in this ball game, trying to get some infielders out of position. But it didn't work that time, although Munson hit the ball fairly well. Now it's Reggie Jackson. He's walked, he's grounded out. Right now, down to the field, we've got Curt Gowdy to tell a little bit about the role of the DH.
This is the toughest job in baseball, the designated hitter. You ask a man to come up 4 times a game as a pinch hitter. Many people don't know, but back in 1929, they brought up this pitch designated hitter and turned it down. And here's Jackson now. Let's see how he does. A tough job for him.
All right, thank you, Curt. 1 ball, no strikes to Reggie with 1 out. There's Roy White at first base, held by Garvey. Yankees lead 2-1. We're in the last to the 5th. Reggie is one man who can hit the ball out of any part of this ballpark, even though it's deep in left center field and center.
He put on a show, Tony, in batting practice. He was the last Yankee to hit today. He got in that page, and he must have taken about 25 or 30 swings. This was very unusual during batting practice, take that many swings in a row. And he put on an incredible show. Out of that 30 swings, he must have hit 15 balls, some of them in that upper deck. Must have 15 home runs.
He was really in the groove with the bat during the month of September, early in October. 1-1. White at first. Pulled foul on the first baseline. The bat sawed off in Jackson's hand. He'll get another one. One is getting another bat. We're going to pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
There you can see why they call him the October Child. Mr. Autumn. 19 RBIs in 17 postseason games for the Yankees these last 2 years. But Sutton jumps out ahead of him, 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. In Yankee Stadium, they've swung around to the outfield for Reggie Jackson to pull north over toward right center. All 3 outfields are very deep. If there is a gap, it's a little bit toward left center. 1-2 pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There you see the defensive alignment for the Dodgers. Look where Billy North is in center field. Russell playing up the middle. Lopes swung over toward the hole, protect that hole. There's Reggie Smith, deep and down toward the line. Attractive spot to hit home runs here is just to the right of the shoulder of 53, the Yank to be there. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out on Jackson. Reggie has walked and grounded out. He changed up. Garvey will go to Russell for 1. Sutton was not over in time to cover. Russell looks a little, well, he didn't look exactly mad, but a little disgusted. But they get the lead runner. It's got to be a tough play for a pitcher getting over there, Tom.
That is one of the toughest plays. The second part of the double play, but it's part of the pitcher's job. Russell gets the ball nicely, plenty of time, looks, and obviously nobody there. Sutton showed up late.
He lost the double play because Russell was ready to gun it. He just didn't get there.
If he'd have gotten there in time, he'd had a good shot at a double play.
So now with 2 outs, Jackson down at first base. The Yankees lead 2-1, and Lou Piniella steps in. He is lined out hard to center field. He is singled, and he stole a base, surprisingly enough. Piniella tomahawks one deep to Death Valley in left field. But he saves the run as Baker makes the catch. The score, the Yankees 2, the Dodgers 1 as we go to the 6th. Due up for the Dodgers, Say, Dusty Baker, and Lee Lacy. Man, Mickey Lolich, left-hander.
It was a series that I was very fortunate at. Roger Maris, who was with the 68 Cardinals, said that the one pitcher the Cardinals had to worry about in that particular series was Lolich, and lo and behold, he was right, because I did have a good series.
Lolich, he's the man, if you saw the World Series that year, hit a home run. It surprised him so. He kept running over first base, took a right turn instead of left, almost ran back to his own dugout. Joe?
We're looking at Mrs. Tom Bradley in the light coat, the mayor's wife of Los Angeles. And the lady who's kind of peeking without the hat on there, I don't know what they're looking at, is Rachel Robinson, widow of the late and great Jackie Robinson. That's Peter O'Malley, the club president. Mrs. O'Malley, his wife, and then Rachel Robinson behind.
Ron Guidry to Ron Say. Way outside and high, ball 1. The Yankees lead 2-1 over the Dodgers. We're in the top of the 6th. Yankees with 6 base hits, the Dodgers 4. Dodgers might have had more except for Greg Nettles. He has robbed at least 2 Dodgers of hits. Hit hard to left center field. And high, Rivers is over. There have been a lot of right-handed hitters who have kicked water coolers in this ballpark.
Well, that's what I was talking about the Dodgers last year, turning on that ball and trying to hit the ball out to left field, Tony. I talked to Ronnie Say yesterday. The Dodgers were here for a workout yesterday evening, and he said he was not going to try and change his style. He felt that if he could pull the ball down at that 387-foot line in left field over to the foul pole, he's going to try and do that, hit the ball out that way. He didn't feel he was an advantage taking the ball to right field.
Dusty Baker. Slider inside, 1 ball. Well, the age-old controversy. Kurt Gowdy interviewed Joe DiMaggio out by the monuments in left field. 1-0 pitch. Hit hard up the alley, left center field. Rivers is going to try and chase it down. Is Baker going to challenge the arm? No. Rivers gets it in very quickly. Rivers ran pretty well. He may have saved a double, possible triple, and he got the ball back in a hurry. Good play by Mickey. Started to say the age-old controversy. What would Ted Williams have done in this park with a short porch in right field? The other hand, DiMaggio up in Boston, but DiMaggio must have had an awful lot of home runs taken away in this ballpark.
What would Willie Mays have hit in Brooklyn? Musial in Brooklyn.
You can go on and on, can't
brother.
you? Lee Lacy. Lacy hit into a double play in the 2nd inning. Called out on strikes in the 4th. Nice block by Thurman. 1 ball. We're here in Yankee Stadium. down in the field with a different perspective. The crusty veteran, as you called him today, Tom Seaver. Curt Gowdy up here in the booth. Joe Garagiola, Tom Seaver, and Tony Kubek. Score is 2-1. The Yankees lead over the Dodgers. 1 out, 1 ball, no strikes, and Lacy. Baker's at first. Hit hard, base hit up the middle. So the Dodgers have 2 men on, as Baker will stop at second base, and it'll bring up Billy North. The hard swingers, because Guidry, when he has his good fastball and sliders, he doesn't have a whole lot of trouble with it. It's the pesky guys who cut down their swing like Billy North and just peck away at the ball. His ball usually has such good movement in the strike zone.
He's definitely not throwing very well, Tony, that's for sure. He's still only given up 1 run, but Greg Nettles has caught 1 line drive and saved 2 other sure base hits at third base.
Baker's at second, Lacy's at first. Billy North, who's walked, stolen a base. There's Baker down at second. Lacy at first, who just singled. We're in the top of the 6th. One and one to North. Ron Guidry was challenging a record when he was in the midst of that 13-game win streak. 2 balls and 1 strike on North.
He got behind Baker, 1 ball, no strike. There was a single, 1 ball, no strike to Lacy, another single up the middle. Not the Ron Guidry that the Yankee fans have seen here, nor is it the Ron Guidry that Bob Lemon is used to either. He's got 2 guys getting loose in the bullpen.
Fouled off, out of play. The count will go 2-2.
Looks like Tidrow and somebody I can't tell from this far away.
But Goose Gossage, he's number 54. Dick Tidrow, and the man that just walked out of your picture, Ellie Howard. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The chant goes up for Guidry to get the strikeout. Fouled off. Ellie Howard used to warm Ron Guidry up before a ball game out in the bullpen, but he quit. He couldn't handle the fastball. In fact, Sundberg in the All-Star game when Guidry came in, there's Ellie, an MVP in the American League for the Yankees. Sundberg had a fastball thrown to him from Guidry in the All-Star game, and the ball rattled around his shin guards off his chest. 2-2. Make that 3-2 with 2 men on.
Fran Healy, when he was on the roster, warmed him up with a mask on. You usually do that to a knuckleball pitcher, but with Guidry, he did it with him.
With 1 out and a 3-2 count, it will be interesting to see if Tom Lasorda starts the base runners. Baker at second and Lacy at first. Nettles is looking down there. They're going. Hit high to left field. Roy White drifting back. He's got it for out number 2 as the runners return. Here he comes. He threw the wrong base. Baker decoyed Roy White. Roy White caught the runners at held. He threw to second to Brian Doyle. And Baker took off. Very alert base running by Dusty Baker.
He erased his own mistake, though, Tony, because it was so deep. He was running on the pitch, and then he tried to go back. And then when he saw the throw go behind him, he just took off. Why Roy White threw to second base? Only thing I can think of, he just anticipated that Baker was going to tag up and go to third.
There he comes again. With 2 outs, he, of course, cannot score on the sacrifice fly, but now Munson's got to watch for the wild pitch, the pass ball. There's a possibility of a balk. Infield hit will score that run, so there's a little more pressure.
Double steal is what they're talking about now.
There's an awful lot more pressure, Tom, on the infield defensively. They've got to field the ball pretty cleanly. Yeah, Tom?
They can't knock the ball down. That's exactly right. But I think what we're seeing here is the philosophy that the Dodgers are establishing in their clubhouse. Many clubs will get together, they'll have their meetings, they'll go over what they're going to do, how they're going to play the game, what they're going to try and do. I think they've obviously established that they're going to run on the outfield. They're going to run on Thurman. Now, Roy White is the weakest throwing of the Yankee outfield. There was no question that he was going to go back to second. Dusty Baker hustled back. Roy White does not have the good arm and a pretty deep shot to left field. Dusty Baker just took off to third, made it easily. Maybe Roy White knew he couldn't get him at third, threw to second base, so Lee Lacy would not get to second base in scoring position.
I think Baker just decoyed him myself. I think he kind of just lulls. You don't think so, Joe?
No, I don't. I tell you why. Because he started for third, and then he headed back to second, as much as saying, I should have tagged up because he didn't have a good arm. And then Roy White threw that big balloon ball at the second base, and he said, well, if he's going to give it to me, I'll take it.
All right, Manny Moto's going to pinch hit for Steve Yeager with runners on first and third and 2 out. 1 ball. Mota, as I recall, Tom, is a pretty good breaking ball hitter.
Does not have the bat speed that I guess he once had, Tony, and is a good breaking ball hitter now.
Guidry goes 2 balls, no strikes on Mota.
The thing about Guidry is that his slider, when he's throwing well, is almost as hard as his fastball.
Yankees lead 2-1 in the 6th, but the Dodgers are threatening with 2 outs. 3-0 on Mota. There's the runner, Baker at third, Lacy at first. Mota, one of the premier pinch hitters in baseball. Guidry walks the bases full. Tom Lasorda. And it'll bring up Davey Lopes. There's Lemon. Emotionless outside anyway, but inside he's churning. Six walks given up in 6 innings by Ron Guidry.
They still haven't been able to crack him, Tony. Not throwing well. He's gotten the 3 great plays down at third from Greg Nettles. Still only 1 run on the board for the Dodgers.
There's a slider. 1 strike. Now he's going to get some fan support. The bases are full. Nettles with a great play to dial to get the run and save 2 runs. What a display by Greg Nettles, the Yankee third baseman, who's making a believer of even Tom Seaver. He is absolutely fabulous.
I don't believe it. What he has done in the last 2 days, it's unbelievable. Watch him go to his right again. Another shot down the line. It's unbelievable what he's done, the plays he's made behind the pitchers on the Yankee pitching staff.
The ball is crushed. He got an in-between hop. He gets the force out at second base to save 2 runs. So the Yankees retain the lead as we go to the last of the 6th here in Yankee Stadium. It's the Yankees 2, the Dodgers 1. Wow. A double, saved at least 2 runs. He's saved a bunch so far this game. And I have never seen a player get a standing ovation from 60,000 people for a defensive play, but that's what happened when Greg Nettles popped his head out of the Yankee dugout. Makes it something even more special. 1 strike. 1-1.
What do you think his biorhythms are like?
Oh, man.
Huh?
No, his biorhythms can be anywhere.
I tell you, I just sit here and shake my head. He's incredible. He's absolutely incredible.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pull the string. Count goes 1-2.
We were reading that World Series program in the car on the way over here today, and it picked the all-time World Series team. Remember, they picked third base home run Baker. Right. I think we got a substitute.
Well, Brooks Robinson, with some of the series display he put on, sure would qualify. And Greg Nettles this year with his great play in Los Angeles and here today in Yankee Stadium. Something distracts Greg Nettles. The ball comes out and he sees everything. Run out there and grab it.
See that? Now, Greg's got the sense of humor. If I was down there with him, he'd tell me, hey, Seaver, look, here comes your fastball. It's the size of my fastball.
1-2 with nobody out. John Kibler, the home plate umpire, calls time as we're still getting the ball off the field. Each team has 6 hits. The Yankees have 1 more run, 2-1. Change up, just got under it as he drives Reggie Smith to the warning track. Now he drifts in. One of those where you can say it happens a million times a year. He just missed. Nettles knows it. Bring up Chambliss. We raved about Guidry, who has not really had his good stuff today, walking 6, but Don Sutton is doing quite a job. One out. 1 strike. Bob Lemon, a little more controversy surrounding the Yankees. The Yankees voted before the season ended to dole out their series share. Lemon was given a half a share, I believe, as was Billy Martin. We'll tell you more about that. And hard to center field on the 1-strike pitch, but North goes back to the warning track. He's got it. And the confusion of voting him a half a series, well, they didn't really vote, as I understand it. They thought that the commissioner's office, there's Lemon, took care of the manager's share if he was not there the full year. And there's this obscure rule called Rule 45. I asked a couple of Yankee players to explain it. None of them could. But they were under the assumption that, the Yankee players, that the commissioner would decide how much Lemon got. 1 strike, 2 outs. Brian Doyle.
2 statements were said regarding that. Nettles put it in focus when he said it's our money. We'll do what we want. We don't have to explain to the newspaper guys. And Lemon said, I don't care about the money. I'd rather be here than home watching it.
Sutton jumps way ahead of Brian Doyle. No balls, 2 strikes with 2 outs.
Is that because he's managed for 2 teams in the major leagues, Tony? And might that be it?
It's a possibility. He held the White Sox job earlier. Apparently, the Yankees could have written a letter to the commissioner. It had something to do with that obscure Rule 45 again. Chopped foul on the third baseline. But they didn't know that existed. I haven't talked to any of them to ask if they're going to try and rectify the situation or to see if Bob Lemon should get a full share. But again, another point of controversy surrounding the Yankees. But right now, they lead 2-1 over the Dodgers in the last of the 6th with 2 outs and 2 strikes on Doyle. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's the new catcher, Jerry Grote, after Yeager was pinch hit for by Mota. The Dodgers have 4 catchers. This is the man, I believe, Tom Seaver said, if he was quoted accurately, the best catcher he ever pitched to. He pitched to a couple of great ones.
I certainly have. I've been very fortunate, Tony. You're right. Grote for 10.5 years. He's the best catcher I've ever seen. And Johnny Bench, of course, who is an outstanding catcher himself.
2-2 pitch. Fly ball, left field. It's Dusty Baker. He's got it for the 3rd out, so Sutton has an easy inning. The score, after 6 are gone, you're in Yankee Stadium. The Yankees 2, the Dodgers 1. 2 up. Kurt Stouty's man. Bill Russell, Reggie Smith, Steve Garvey. We'll be back after these messages.
Gave him about 4 or 5 runs. Here we go, Bill Russell. This is Bucky Dent's ball. 1 out. Easy out. Bucky Dent gets Russell. It brings up Smith, Reggie Smith. He smashed one at Nettles. I tell you, Guidry out there with 2 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Dodgers 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors. High ball 1. He has not had his good stuff, true, but he has had a lot of Valentine, a lot of heart going for him. Popped up. It's in the stands, but Nettles is over there. We better wait till it lands. He'll go in there and get it.
You know, another thing that's going on here, Joe, is Guidry is pitching without the sweatshirt. Of course, he's got his Yankee shirt on, but then he's got no sweatshirt, wool or cotton sweatshirt underneath that, covering his arms. And it must be down in the 60s here tonight in New York City. About 70 degrees at game time.
Could be an easy out for Roy White. You think he should have something covering his arm?
But he's got nothing covering his arm. A lot of pitchers don't like it. A lot of pitchers think it's uncomfortable having it on there. But I'm a believer that you've got to have a shirt, unless it's stifling hot, that will go down and cover at least your elbow.
Mike Marshall, who's back with the Minnesota Twins, had that theory of not wearing a sweatshirt. Something to do with perspiring. I know Jimmy Cott doesn't wear one anymore in almost the coldest of weather. And Steve Carlton has gone to that, hasn't he?
I really don't know if he has or not, Tony. I know that if I don't wear one, things start to hurt once in a while.
Garvey is the batter. Takes the first pitch. 2 outs. 2-1. Yankees lead the Dodgers. There's the strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. See Kibler pointing 1 ball, 1 strike. Scoreboard a bit late. Tapped foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now these fans, they'll start to hoop it up again. Foul back. Garvey, a very disciplined hitter. Determined. Straight away center field. Mickey Rivers going back, got a back jump on it, and is over his head. Garvey digging hard.
will stop at second base. No, now a bad relay. He'll head for third.
Whoa, nobody backing up third.
Say, Guidry didn't know what to do. He was standing on the mound. He should have been behind third, but it looked like the throw was going into second.
Rivers did not get the good jump, as you said, and he plays a very shallow center field, and this is not the time to play shallow with 2 outs. You're in the last part of the ball game. You want to give him that little looper. Here comes a late throw as Garvey really hustles. You want to give him the looper and cut the extra base hits down.
Do you know who almost made another great play on this? Watch Nettles at third. Gets him off balance in the air, and he's turning. He lost the ball, but he turned while he was in the air, almost made a tag on.
There it is again.
Garvey going into third. Rivers really got rid of the ball well in the outfield, and why they let the ball go through, I don't know.
This is an amazing scoring decision. They give the error to the shortstop. Bucky never handled the ball.
He jumped out of the way.
He jumped out of the way. Mickey Rivers threw the ball, and Bucky Dent jumped out of the way. But the scoreboard says the shortstop's got the error. I'm sure that'll change, but it's a base hit and an error at any rate.
That's one thing the third base coach, Preston Gomez of the Dodgers, said he wanted to know more than anything. Not just the outfield throwing arms, but the relay men's throwing arms. And the scouting report was, to him anyway, that Dent has a good, strong, accurate throwing arm. But he didn't get it.
High. Ron Cey. Cey struck out, walked, and flied to center field. 2-1. Yankees lead. Dodgers have the tying run on at third. Curveball. He was behind the hitter, and he threw something besides the fastball. Ron Guidry battling all the way. These Dodgers have hit the ball hard, but Greg Nettles has put on some kind of a fielding clinic at third base.
Unofficially, they have left 10 men on base.
Strike. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-1. Yankees lead. 7. Garvey at third. All 3. He has walked 6. He has struck out 2. Unusual. That's the highest he's ever, as far as walks in his major league career. The bottom half of the 7th inning. It's the Yankees 2, the Dodgers 1. 7 hits and 1 error for the Yankees, 1-7-0 for the Dodgers. A capacity crowd here at Yankee Stadium. Mickey Rivers, who singled his first time up, singled his second time up, and flied to left. Sutton, the all-time Dodger leader in wins, 205, most starts, strikeouts, innings, shutouts. Very high on the all-time list in a number of categories. He's battling here, trailing by a run. Ron Cey moves in close at third. Very close at third. Bunted beautifully. Brody will have to make the play. Too late.
Rivers runs very well, but when Brody took that one little look to second base, it was too late. Boy, did Brody get out to that. He was almost out to the pitcher's mound.
He can get out there like a big cat, Tony, but he hesitated a little bit. You can watch him come out now. It's a good bump by Rivers. Brody gets out as well as anybody in the league. When he picks up the ball,
right there,
and that cost him the out at first base.
Give you an idea of one of the fastest men in baseball, even with that pull leg muscle and bad hip. He bunched the ball, and Jerry Grody coming right at you. Takes the little look. He could not get the lead runner, and when he hesitated, it was all over.
There you see Lasorda. We're going to have a pinch runner for Mickey Rivers at first base. Paul Blair's going in to run. First and second, nobody out. There you see Blair. A base hit for Mickey Rivers. Roy White, who can handle a bat. Here they come. Foul ball.
Mickey Rivers button, and he can really get mad.
Rolled it out down the third baseline from home plate. You really had the lead runner. Joe Yogi did that so well.
Yeah, Yogi can get out there in a hurry. One strike pitch to Roy White. High. Were there times, Tom, as a battery mate, that you'd have to go down and settle Grody down?
Jerry and I always worked together pretty well. So no, we didn't have too much problem.
He's a real competitor. Sutton, another real competitor, in trouble. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody out. 2-1. Yankees lead, win the bottom of the 7th. Foul ball.
Watch him again if they try to bunt. Jerry Grody almost like duck walks out from behind home plate. Sounds like the umpire continues to have a good view at the pitch. Whether they'll bunt with 2 strikes or not, I don't know.
Rivers' injury had to be in his mind. Balloon is out in right field because Jerry, you don't get any help from anybody. Usually on a play like that, the play's in front of you as a catcher, so you've made up your mind what you're going to do, but you're going to give it a quick look, and he just assumed that with the bad leg, Rivers wouldn't be going, but Mickey, he saw that base hit inside, so it was like a quick trip to Lourdes. It was a miracle as his leg healed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Don Sutton, look at that concentration. Call now, Garvey. Motion to something in front of the mound, a little rubber ball. Piece of a rubber ball. Boy, you talk about the concentration. Time is called again. Groundskeeper retrieves it. Now we're set. Could be 2. There's 1 over to first. Low throw. And what a takeout. Davey Lopes really got dumped at second by Blair. He's still seated down there at second base, just now getting up.
Well, this is the one that kills you if you're second baseman especially. The man is coming up to him behind you. You never see him. You never know how close. Russell gives the toss, but watch this. Paul Blair forced the bad throw, the low throw. We'll show you another angle. Davey Lopes never knows what hits him. Doesn't get a chance to open up, get much on the ball, and Blair just tears him up.
Davey really got unloaded on. Grody having a little meeting out there with Sutton. There's 1 man out. You've got pretty good speed on the bases.
This is one that an infielder keeps in the back of his mind. Davey Lopes will make a little check mark that someday, somehow, he's going to get Paul Blair back if he ever has the chance.
It's going to be hard to get him in center field and on that bench, and that's what those guys do.
He might be coming in again the second.
Yeah, he'll remember that, that's for sure. Here is Munson. 1 man out. Base runners at first and third. Munson has been out on strikes twice and flied to right. Strike 1.
Munson isn't even holding. There's Dent at third, and White at first. Munson isn't even holding on to the bat with his right hand. That right shoulder, we told you earlier in the series, but in case you missed it, he had a slight shoulder separation. Got it when he was taken out in the outfield, throwing, and then he bumped the wall. He's hurt.
You know, it looks like he commits himself, Tony, and then Sutton's got that real good curveball we talked about. He just can't adjust to it. He's hurting so much that he's got to commit himself early, and then the ball breaks, and there's just no way. Now, he's thrown. He knows a hitter in this situation, if you've got a hitter who looks bad on a lot of pitches, just keep going right after him. That's what you should do.
2-strike pitch. Bouncing ball, save. Knocks it down. Everybody's safe. Run scores.
There it is. Munson chopped it. He made contact with 2 strikes. Say retreat it, let the ball play him a little bit, couldn't get the handle, and he gets no one. There's Tommy Lasorda.
Just like we established in the first game, Tony. The one downfall the Dodgers might have, and you said it tonight, the defense on the infield might be their weakest spot.
Well, Tom Lasorda has told everyone in the world that he'll always be a Dodger. He's been in the organization 28 years. We found out something new about Tommy.
The whole world knows how much I love the Dodgers. I've been with them for 29 years, the greatest organization in baseball. But what a lot of people don't know is that when I was growing up and living in Norristown, Pennsylvania, I loved the Yankees. I used to think the Yankees were the greatest team in the world, and I knew their middle names: Joseph Paul DiMaggio, Henry Louis Gehrig, William Malcolm Dickey. But now, it's Dodger blue all the way. I love the Dodgers.
So you gotta love that guy. He just made a pitching change, and Sutton's gonna walk off. I'm sure these Yankee fans will give him a nice ovation. But for the young pitchers, this has been a great study, I believe, Tom, in what the term battle of hitters mean. Sutton did it all night. Guidry's been doing it. And we've got quite a ball game going. We've got a break in the action and scored 3-1 Yankees. We're going to pause right here and be right back after these messages. Lance Ruffson, the pitcher for the Dodgers, in relief of Don Sutton. 78, 43 games, 2-1. His record. Jackson hits the first pitch off the end of the back base hit. Here comes Roy White. He'll score. Heading for third, Munson.
Did a pretty good bit of base running as we see the score 4-1 Yankees. Runners on first and third because he went to third on Dusty Baker. He had to play in front of him and scoring that sacrifice fly. He's an excellent base runner, Thurman.
He showed that scoring all the way from first on a hit from Jackson in that second game. So Thurman Munson's at third, Jackson's at first, one man out. 2 runs are in. Yankees lead 4-1. Bottom of the 7th. Lou Piniella, the batter. He's 1 for 3. Bouncing ball. Russell will have to go to first. They get Piniella, but Munson scores. 5-1.
Chopper, no chance for the double play. Reggie Jackson was really barreling into Davey Lopes in a hard slide. Nice scoop by Darby. You want to see what Reggie was doing on this play? Watch Davey Lopes and how Reggie goes after him. He's going all the way in case the throw was to second base. Get out of the way, Dave. Davy's had a rough time down there. Overslid the bag.
John Kibler has held that play here. Somebody from the upper deck has now thrown 2 beer bottles down there and broken them on the field. Very dangerous situation. The last one, the glass splintered all over, and that's what the bat boys and a couple of ground crew do, picking it up. People don't know, sometimes they celebrate, get carried away, and very seriously injure a player.
Bob Lemon, Tom Lasorda. Right now, 5-1 Yankees, and here's Nettles. Crowd gave him a tremendous ovation, as you heard. Done some job with that glove tonight. There's the strike. Game 3 of the World Series. Tomorrow night, Tommy John against Ed Figueroa, and we'll be right here. Strike. 2 outs. There's Jackson at second.
of 7. New York out in front of Los Angeles. Got a new center fielder for the Yankees. Paul Blair's gone in to play center field, replacing Rivers. It'll be Baker, Lacy, and North. There you see Blair. You know, Tom Lasorda's got the whole staff of coaches, but he's also got some honorary coaches, and one of them in the hospital. And I know he's brought many laughs to a lot of us, Pat Henry, so we wish him a speedy recovery. He's a big Dodger fan. That 4-run deficit not going to help him too much as we look at Lasorda. He knows them all. He's like a whole lot like Casey Stengel, Tony. Wherever he goes, people just follow him.
Last night at the workout, everybody left as we were walking away, and you always feel good around Tom Lasorda when you leave him. I've never seen him in a down mood.
He's something. Dusty Baker, he walked in the second inning, flying to right and single to center. Ron Guidry. Line score, 5 runs, 10 hits, and 1 error for the Yankees, 1-7-0 for the Dodgers. He has really battled. Don Sutton battled, but Sutton had to leave. Ball 1. It's really been one of those perils of Pauline for Ron Guidry. 1 strike, 1 ball. As soon as he gets in trouble, Greg Nettles comes on the white horse in the glove and makes the play.
There's Nettles. Guidry has struck out just 2. He's walked 6. He had a strikeout game this year against the California Angels. He got 18. Struck out Rudy, a pretty darn good hitter, a hard guy to strike out 4 times.
A little bit of luck goes a long way, you know, especially for a pitcher. You go out there enough times, you're going to have bad luck. He's had some great luck here tonight, and he's great play, and Greg Nettles, you know, the line drive right at him, and then play after play after play. You know, the good pitcher turned that good luck into a very positive aspect of pitching.
2-2 pitch. Low, and it's ball 3. 6th inning, bases loaded, got out of it. Nettles a great play on Garvey in the 5th to get him out of it. Nettles a great play on Reggie Smith. That's out of play in the 3rd inning. Double play by Nettles off Lacy in the 2nd, got him out of it. Amazing night. Amazing night. Greg Nettles, Mr. Puff. Starts it and disappears. That's out of play, foul ball.
I think the tip-off on how much trouble Guidry's been in is the fact that he's left, according to my scorecard anyway, 11 Dodgers stranded.
3-2 pitch to Dusty Baker. Finally got one by Nettles, but it was way foul.
Well, sitting up here, we don't know if it's rhythm or if he's stiff. Another thing, that he could just plain be tired. He's pitched 274 innings during the season. He pitched against the Kansas City A's in the playoff game. He could be just tired, that's all.
That's going to be a base hit. Baker just kind of reached for that ball. Didn't have a good swing, but had enough force behind it that he dropped it in for a base hit. Tomorrow afternoon, Game 4 right here at Yankee Stadium, 3 o'clock Eastern time. And it'll be Tommy John for the Dodgers, Ed Figueroa for the Yankees.
I got a feeling we're going to see another pitcher here pretty quick. Thurman's out to the mound talking to Guidry. 3-2, and Baker had no trouble.
Goose.
There's the big golden boy down the bullpen. And he can fire it up to home plate with the best of them.
Rich Gossage.
Rich Gossage. Rich the Goose Gossage.
What makes Guidry, what he's done over the last 2 seasons, the big league, so surprising is that, and some of you may have heard of this, at one time he considered quitting. His wife talked him into it when they were driving home.
Fouled out of play, Lee Lacy. It's a cliche, but I just wonder how many careers were right at that crossroad where you were going to quit. And the wife, good wife, the faithful one, right behind you says, do it this way, and it turns out like a Guidry story. Could be a double play. There's 1, 2 double plays, 6-4-3.
Becky down. Got the ball very quickly to his pivot man, Brian Doyle. Here comes Dusty Baker, but he never gets a chance to get close enough, as the key play was when Dent got the ball to Doyle in a hurry. You can see how Doyle low bridges Baker coming in. You know, I think what Guidry might be showing us tonight, too, is that he's not just a hard thrower. He's a pretty good pitcher. He's got a sinker ball going for him when he's had to.
He's made the pitch, and of course he's gotten the play, especially from Nettles. Here he gives up a base hit, gets the pitcher's best friend to double play, and here is North. Strike one, fouls it back.
A lot of guts, too, Joe. I think that's one credit we really found out about him here tonight. A lot of people have across the country. He is one gutty player.
One strike to count on Billy North. North walked and scored. That was back in the third. Bouncing ball to Dent. It's going to be a 1-2-3 with that double play. There it is. So the Dodgers go down in order in the 8th inning. They go in the bottom half of the 8th inning. The score here, New York 5, Los Angeles 1. Left to right, U.S. Attorney General Griffin Bell, the Commissioner of Baseball, Bowie Kuhn, and Erwin Siegelstein, who is the Executive Vice President Broadcasting, NBC. You don't think they're talking baseball strategy, do you? Charlie Huff, a knuckleballers, come on. Joe Ferguson has come on to catch.
Dodgers with 4 catchers. Johnny Oates is still on the bench. Ferguson got that big glove out, I imagine he does. There it is, the one that Paul Richards brought on back in Baltimore when Hoyt Wilhelm, great knuckleball pitcher who is incidentally here again today. Hoyt's been around the country. He's a Yankee minor league pitching coach.
So it's Chambliss, Doyle, Dent here in the 8th inning. Yankees lead 5-1. The 9th inning for the Dodgers. And 9th place, Lopes and Russell. Chambliss, knuckleball. Imagine it'll be Ferguson, Lopes, and Russell. The DH in there. No maneuvering. Good knuckleball.
Give the fans your line, Charlie Lau's line, really, about how to catch a knuckleball.
I think it's only one that makes sense. 2-0 pitch. Bouncing ball. Garvey far to his right. Huff will get there and makes the play. Charlie Lau says there are 2 theories on how to catch the knuckleball, but unfortunately none of them work. Brian Doyle, the batter. Now, because of the length of tonight's game, we would like to remind you that immediately following its conclusion, except on the West Coast and most mountain zone stations, you'll be able to enjoy your local news coverage. Of course, don't forget to stay tuned right after that for the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Last night, he was so funny doing the takeoff on our broadcast. New way we came up with. I loved it. There's a high fly ball center field. Billy North will have no problems. Now, for those of you on the West Coast and most mountain zone stations, you'll be seeing your local news and a Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson at your regular time, of course. So, and tomorrow, it's Tommy John against Ed Figueroa. Bucky Dent. Knuckleball scoots back. Speaking of theories on a knuckleball, Harmon Killebrew had a theory on how to hit it. He says you look for the seams and then you try to hit in between the seams. There's a one all the way back. Nice play.
Hey, one guy Charlie Huff didn't want to see come up there is Reggie Jackson. Reggie, of course, 3 home runs in the last game of the World Series last year. The last one that Reggie hit was an absolute monster, and they hit it off of Charlie Huff.
There's the strike. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, nobody on. We're at the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees leading by the score of 5-1, and there is the Yankee bench. Well hit left field, but Dusty Baker is there. So Charlie Huff has a 3-up and 3-down inning. At the end of 8 complete innings, the score, New York 5, Dodgers 1. He has battled hard.
Plenty of help from Nettles. He's got 5 runs. High, ball 1. That 1 run was a walk given up to North. That was in the 3rd inning. Roy White got the Yankees started with a home run. That's the only home run in the game. Foul ball out of play.
Ron Guidry, 5'11", 161 pounds is all. Not throwing here tonight the way he has normally, but watch his arm speed. He gets tremendous leverage, pitches off a stiff front leg, but his arm goes all the way through. That arm speed is what generates that velocity.
Read something the other day. In fact, I talked to one of the guys, a kinesiologist from the University of Michigan. They measured the arm speed with some electronic devices, and they had it just short of the speed of sound. What's that, 600?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it really is. Sort of wear and tear on an elbow or a shoulder.
That's all great, but old Dizzy Dean used to say you got to fog that ball, partner.
That's what he's doing.
That's what Guidry is doing is right.
Yes, sir. Goodbye. He's a gutty little guy, boy. He's got a little help from his friends, and he's up 5-1.
It's his 3rd strikeout, and his crowd reacts. From the 1977 All-Star game, he has a 38-5 record. That's an .884 percentage in his last 52 starts, finishing the 77 season with a 10-2 record, 2 wins in postseason, 25-3 this season, a win against the Royals. Oh, brother. He's liable to get a raise. Here's Lopes. Nettles, they ought to try somebody else. He's proved it tonight. Right now, let's pause briefly for station identification. It's the NBC Television Network.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
I had to laugh, Tom, because it looked like Guidry went over and said, I'm going to give you half this victory.
Greg probably did tell him, he said, you better let him try somebody else. They can't get it by me.
Listen to the crowd. Ball 1. The end is near, the sign says. Ball 2. Ron Guidry. Yankees lead 5-1. 1 out away. All 3. Bob Lemon, Hall of Famer. There's his strike. Russell, 2 for 4. Strike 2. Look at the crowd. Listen to the crowd. That's the 7th based on balls given up by Ron Guidry, and that is really news. Man bites dog kind of news. He just doesn't do it. Reggie Smith. Right. 56,447, and then I'll be back tomorrow to watch Tommy John against Ed Figueroa. 1 ball, 1 strike. We'll be on the air at 3 o'clock Eastern time. We'll be looking for you. Play. Watch that noise level come up.
If he can finish with a strikeout, the place here, they'll go crazy. They love it. They absolutely love it. They're on their feet now. That must be half and half for Guidry and half for Nettles.
Tell you what we ought to do, guys, is just let that crowd build up, and they'll tell us what he does. out to Reggie Smith, ends it, and Ron Guidry on the ropes most of the night gets a complete game victory as the Yankees defeat the Dodgers by the score of 5-1. 5-1 ball game. Yankees win it, and there go the Yankees into the clubhouse, and Curt Gowdy's down there. And Curt, you are right in the middle of all that excitement.
Greg Nettles saved at least 5 runs tonight. 5 sensational plays by him, especially earlier in the game. A gutty performance by Guidry, who 15 times this year has come back after the Yankees had lost the game before. He won the deciding game in the playoff, and now he has put the Yankees back in the World Series. Tomorrow, Figueroa. Can he finally do it in postseason? He was a 20-game winner, but we'll see him against Tommy John. That's the way it went, and back upstairs.
I tell you something, this Yankee Stadium crowd, much like that Dodger crowd, really something. And there you see that final score. The New York Yankees 5, the Dodgers 1. So far, Tony Kubek, Tom Seaver, and Curt Gowdy. This is Joe Garagiola saying so long from Yankee Stadium. Of the 1978 World Series has been brought to you by Lowenbrau. When you want the taste of a truly great beer, there's really only one. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrau. And by Gillette, makers of Right Guard antiperspirants. Don't get dressed without it. And by Dodge, and your Dodge dealer who invites you to come in and see why people are saying, hey, that's my Dodge. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Oldmeyer. Today's World Series telecast was produced by Michael Weissman, directed by Harry Coyle. The pregame show was produced by David Stern, directed by Ken Fouts. Technical director, Horace Ruiz. Associate producer, Kenneth Edmondson. The associate directors, Richard Klein and Bob Levy. Tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, Game 4 of the World Series, Tommy John against Ed Figueroa. Sunday, regional NFL action starting with NFL 78. Check your local listings. And World Series Game 5, if necessary, at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. And now the Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, following local news on the West Coast and most mountain time zones. The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson, local news, be seen at the regular time. And here's a word from Jay Johnstone.
Come on, sports fans. You didn't really think that the Dodgers were going to sweep the Yankees? No way. Not here in beautiful Yankee